Hey everybody, welcome here to Musicians Edition. I'm Evan on the guitar, and this video is going to be diving more into finger picking on the guitar. I wanted to do more of a series diving into these because I only have 2 videos up on finger picking, and they are just very basic arpeggios, one note up at a time in 4/4 and then in 3/4 and 6/8. So I wanted to go more advanced into these because I really enjoy finger picking. I think it's a great way to sound a lot better than you actually are, and a way to mix up your chords, because instead of playing a standard chord where you're strumming all the notes at one time, you expand that chord by playing them one note or sometimes 2 notes at a time. So G, for example, I might be playing an open strum or a strumming pattern. With these arpeggios and this finger picking, we're going to play it usually one note at a time, and I can stretch it out like this. And then even move between chords, playing a similar kind of a pattern. We're going to create a progression using finger picking patterns like that. And in future videos, we'll do more advanced techniques, pick up some new chords along the way to really work out those fingers and become masters at finger picking. So finger picking is super common in country, blues, all different kinds of genres on the acoustic or electric guitar. So it's a great workout for you guys to be able to know here. So let's get into this one. All right, we're going to play the same pattern all the way through. That pattern is going to be this right here. This is it played openly and actually as the E minor chord. So openly, we're going to always strum the root note first and let that ring out the whole time. So in this example, that is the low E. And then we're going to play after that 3rd string, 2nd string, 3rd string, and then high E 1st string, then back down to 2nd, 3rd, 2nd. So 8 notes all evenly spaced apart. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So practice that pattern really quickly with this open shape. That's just E minor here. We're going to actually play this chord in the song we're going to practice. Go ahead and get that shape down, and we're going to go ahead and look at our chords next. This is our full sheet. Most of these chords should look very familiar to you, and we're just going to use the standard shapes for all of these here. So if you know your regular G chord, then you know the shape we're going to play. If you know your regular C chord, you know your shape. Same with E minor, A minor. We got D here as well. There's just 2 chords that might look different or new for you. I did put up videos on slash chords and sus chords, so if you have seen those, you might be familiar with these shapes. This is going to be B minor slash A, and then that other one is a D sus 2. Here's the shapes for both of those there. B minor slash A, we're playing A, open A, and then our other 3 notes are going to be 4th fret, 3rd fret, and 2nd fret to make up our 4 strings. Okay, and then our other one, D sus 2, we're going to strum that D string for the root, and then we're going to play 2nd fret, 3rd fret, and then open on that high E. For a standard D, we play 2nd fret on that high E. For this one, we're going to leave it open and just have 2 fingers fretted. The rest of these are standard shapes, so hopefully you're familiar with these. We'll go over them briefly, as we go through these, but hopefully try to memorize these shapes and just look at the chord names as you go through it, and that's going to be the quickest way to get through this, I think, because your pattern stays the same. As long as you know the shape, you should be able to get through this pretty quickly. All right, and we'll take this down 4 bars at a time. Starting it off, we're going to look at G. And for G, what we're going to have to do is get that G root note on the 3rd fret, and then we need our pinky on the 3rd fret of high E, and everything else can be left open. Regular G, you would usually put your middle finger on that 2nd fret there, but we're not playing that string anyway, so you don't really need to push it. So for G, we need 3 and 3 with, I have my ring finger and my pinky, and we're going to strum 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Next up, we're going to go to C. So C, we need to slide that ring finger down 1 to the 3rd fret, which is C there. We're going to press our index finger on the first fret of that second string there. C also includes a second fret right there with your middle finger. We don't play that string. You're welcome to push down on it, but we don't really need it. And C is going to get played like this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Make sure on that high E that's getting played openly that your index finger here is not rubbing up against it, because then you won't get a clean sound. So make sure you lift it off so you do get that sound there. All right, back and forth. We got G, C, and then G, G. So let's do that whole set right here. Here's G. Over to C. Back to G. G again. Okay. So the only thing to think about as you're going through this is the root note that the thumb plays does change between G and C. Low E versus the A string. But your other fingers are doing the same thing. So just work on those transitions there, and you got this main part down. So practice that. If you do need more help to play it consistently all the way through, that is the key here. Whatever speed you go, just make sure there's no stopping in the middle of it. So whatever speed works for you to make that change. And so on there. So that's the thing to practice. Really just switch between G and C is a good way to practice this one to get it down. And practice what we're going to do later in the song here too.
This lesson is brought to you by the Musician's Edition practice book. Make goals and keep track of progress throughout the whole year. When you're done with this video lesson, don't forget to mark this practice time in your Musician's Edition practice book. Now back to the video.
Our next set here is pretty easy. We're going to do 2 sets with E minor, which we already practiced. That is just everything open. And then 2 sets of A minor, which is just going to be the standard A minor shape. So we'll practice that one here. E minor, super, super easy, all open. Don't even need my left hand. That's the 2 run-throughs there. And then as we're closing up on that second run-through, I'd get that hand ready to get into that A minor position, which is going to be here. Root note is A, not the low E here. Okay, so that's just 2 run-throughs of that. So one more time, here's E. And A. And one tip here, remember, because these are arpeggios, you really don't need all your fingers pressed down at the same time. You want to focus on getting the fingers that you're playing first there, which is the root note is the most important one you need to land if that one is fretted. Or, you know, one of those earlier ones that do get played with the highest string, really your last priority to get down. You can do that while you're already playing the other ones. So you don't have to get all those fingers down at the same time. Focus on the ones that you're going to need to play first. So for G and C, I always prioritize getting that root finger down first and then finding the other one along the way sometimes if I can't get there quick enough. So we are halfway through this one already. Again, we have G, C, G, G, and then we have E minor, A minor, A minor. Pretty easy so far. Let's go ahead and look at our next line here. We're going to do our first new chord, which is going to be that B minor over A. So here's what that one looks like on this tab here. We're going to play the A string open, and then we're going to get our ring finger on the 4th fret, middle on the 3rd, and then get to that index finger on the 2nd fret there. So we're going to play B minor over A like this. Just one instance of it, then we got to slide on over to A minor, which we can do. Really, the easy way to do this is to just pick up your index finger, slide these 2 fingers right on over to the 2nd and 1st fret, and that's a really easy transition. So one more time, from B minor over A. Pick up index, slide. We just did that over to A minor. Next up is G and then C. Let's pick up that ring finger, get it pressed on the root. We're going to find that pinky on that 3rd fret of the high E there too. And then down to C. Ring finger goes down to the root. Index presses that 1st fret. And there's all of that. So this line's a little bit harder because we got 4 chords here with one that's pretty new to us. So starting off again, get that B minor over A shape. That's 4, 3, 2. And let's slide over to that A minor shape. And now down to G. Whoops, there it is. And down to G. And up to C. All right, so stick on this line and practice those transitions. These are the hardest ones we've had yet. When you are ready, let's go ahead and look at our last line here. And our last line is going to start off with our other new chord, that D sus2, and we're going to have to get ready to strum our new root note on the D string. We've only used the E and A so far, so let's get our thumb moved down to the D string. We're going to play D, and then we're still going to play that 3rd, 2nd, 3rd, high, 3rd, 2nd, 3rd. So here's that D sus2. We're fretting the 3rd fret and the 2nd fret here, but leaving that high E string open. Okay, and then all we're doing is, next up is D. So all we're going to do here is use our free finger and put that now on the 2nd fret of the high E string, and that's our change there. So again, just lift off index and press it down. That is to get from D sus2 to just regular D. And next up, we just finish on a G. So our last one, let's get our ring finger back to that G root note, pinky up here, and we got it. And just finish on ringing out a G there for that last bar. So here we just have D sus2, D, and then G with one final G to let it out. All right, so let's go ahead and look at this entire thing one more time. So we have these 4 sets of 4 bars. 1st and 2nd, I think, are really easy to make sure we get down. You might slow down a little bit on those 3rd and 4th lines as we're doing those harder chords, but once you do get used to those, I think they're really not too hard to get through. So practice, practice, practice at your own pace. Get no stopping points in the middle here, and then work on increasing your speed as you get more comfortable with these transitions here. Your right hand should just be kind of an autopilot, especially these high fingers doing the same thing each time, just that thumb moving to different root notes. And then we're just working on those chord transitions with that fretting hand. So let's go ahead and play this through one time all together here. So nice and slowly all the way through, just so we can hear this out all together, and then work on increasing your speed. Here we go. 1, 2, ready, go. G, C, G, G, E minor, again, A minor, A minor again, that B minor over A, slide over for it, A minor, G, C, D sus2, D, and G, and there it is. That's our full pattern. So keep this page up with those chords. Go ahead and keep on practicing and get faster and faster. You're getting great practice switching between chords and working out those finger muscles, putting both of those things together here. So Stick with this one and stay tuned for future videos on finger picking. Get those muscles working in those fingers, working on that coordination, and we're learning new chords along the way. So stick around as we go further and further into this series. Have fun playing, and we'll see you next time.